Hey guys, check it out. You're watching Jonathan Clarke on YouTube. Oh no! Tonight is the night that I've waited for my entire life because for the first time ever, I finally get to one-up these YouTube content creators who also upload videos about Descendants and Zombies. Watch the Descendants and Zombies Worlds Collide Tour concert special on my brand new 65-inch plasma TV that I installed in my bedroom. And you're saying to yourself, hey, Jonathan Clarke, you're crazy enough to install a 65-inch plasma TV in your bedroom? How cool are you? If you're somebody who loves Descendants and Zombies with all of your heart, I think this is going to be the YouTube channel for you because this is a night that we have waited for forever. Because this past summer, I had the honor to review the Descendants and Zombies Worlds Collide Tour in its original format, and I had the chance to meet each and every one of you. Having the chance to meet each and every one of you was an honor that I will never, ever forget because many of whom became my best friends. I tell you guys everything on this show. I tell you everything that happens to me in my daily routine. I tell you everything that happens to me about how I feel about Descendants and Zombies because these are really milestone moments that are happening for us. These are moments that we waited on for forever, and having the chance to experience them, I've always felt there's no better way to experience them than by experiencing them together. And tonight we will run it all back all over again as the Descendants and Zombies Worlds Collide Tour makes its return to Disney Channel and premieres the following night on Disney Plus when the views will go up in the millions. I remember when The Rise of Red, which is a part of tonight's lineup on Disney Channel because it will kick off with The Rise of Red followed by 2 repeat airings of the Descendants and Zombies Worlds Collide Tour concert special, then followed by Zombies 4 Dawn of the Vampires. I remember when Descendants: The Rise of Red premiered on Disney Channel, and within its first 3 days, it got over 6.7 million views. And I knew at that moment that Descendants: The Rise of Red was going to go on to hold a very special place in our hearts. Little did I know that I would be the host of a show that would become everybody's favorite Descendants and Zombies YouTube channel show of all time. There are thousands of videos that I have uploaded over the years, but I have never had such a profound honor given to me and so much respect shown to me by fans, thousands of them, who saw something special in my YouTube channel. And every single night I sit in front of this camera, I sit in this chair in front of this microphone, and I tell you how I feel as I speak to you from my heart. Because I'm just like each and every one of you. I don't know what's going to happen from one moment to the next when it comes to Descendants and Zombies. But I'm just as excited to share in the future with each and every one of you and to be a part of it. Because you guys didn't have to accept me into this niche. The reality of life is there are so many content creators on YouTube who have the chance to talk to you guys about Descendants and Zombies and tell you how they feel. But when I really think about it, nobody really reviews Descendants and Zombies quite like this guy on YouTube or is crazy enough to talk about it as relatable as what I have. Because I've loved having the chance to meet each and every one of you and understand you for being the fans of Descendants and Zombies that you are, many of whom who are very passionate about collecting the Descendants and Zombies dolls, which are quite beautiful, I might admit, and the Descendants and Zombies merch, like the Descendants and Zombies Worlds Collide Tour hoodies, which many of you have probably never taken off. You probably still get your ticket stub from the Descendants and Zombies Worlds Collide Tour show that you attended. It was a very emotional time. I will never forget the farewell performance in Fort Worth, Texas, because many of us didn't want to say goodbye, and we're still holding on to what was special from this past summer for many of us. And I think that because we don't want to let go, I think we don't have to. Why should we have to let go of something that's so special to each and every one of us? We've collected Descendants and Zombies dolls for what feels like forever. I know what that's like because years ago I used to collect everything that I was passionate about, from wrestling figures to video games to posters I used to have on my wall. One of the very first posters I ever had of a star that I loved with all of my heart was Jessica Simpson. And I really did love Jessica Simpson. I thought she was the best singer ever. I thought every song that Jessica Simpson wrote, she sang so beautifully, and Jessica Simpson would eventually evolve into superstars like Kylie Cantrell and Ruby Rose Turner and leave the door more widely open for these stars to become the greatest of all time, more than perhaps ever before. I say this because moments like these are only ever meant to happen once in a person's lifetime, or at least every so often. And I got the chance to experience these moments with each and every one of you, while sharing my stories with you guys about how I believe the zombie apocalypse could happen at any given moment. Or I would love to have the chance to jump down through a rabbit hole, which honestly I would love the opportunity to do because then I would finally realize my dream of wanting to become a part of Disney. I always wanted to be an actor on Disney Channel, and I like to believe that I would get away with being your guy's favorite star on Disney Channel, doing the Disney Channel signature intro where I would say, "Hey everyone, my name is Jonathan Clarke and you are watching Disney Channel." Yes! I always wanted to say that and be a part of my own Disney Channel intro. While I may have never had the opportunity to be on a Disney Channel show or be in a movie like Descendants or Zombies, I would love to have the chance to touch each and every one of your hearts. But the more that I think about it, I did have the chance to touch each and every one of your hearts through sharing with you my story about how I was a fan. How I was a fan just like each and every one of you. Because we're all special in our own unique way, and every fan of Descendants of Zombies is different. I'm obviously very different. Before all the Descendants of Zombies fans became a part of my life, I was pretty much just a loser who was reviewing TV shows and movies he may have liked, may have been a fan of, a video game collection that probably nobody ever cared about, and then eventually Descendants of Zombies happened for me. How it happened for me, I've told this story 1,000 times, if never a million. Girls showed up at my door every year on Halloween dressed up as their favorite Descendants of Zombies characters, trying to get me to guess who they were. And to be honest with you guys, it really touched a soft place in my heart, and it never ever left me. And ever since, guessing who these girls were, inspiring me to create videos on what you loved and who you loved, I've been here ever since. I went down to my basement, I started recording videos about Descendants of Zombies, and I have never left since. And I think that that's one of the biggest reasons why I've become everybody's favorite YouTuber, because I've had the chance to create so much relatable content for so many wonderful people. And somewhere, somehow, these videos have touched your heart. I want you guys to know that many of you I consider my best friends, because the thing is, we're all fans of Descendants of Zombies for the obvious reasons. It's a beautiful story. It's a beautiful script. But in every fan of Descendants of Zombies, when they tell you, their reasons are different for why they're fans. Some of them are fans of Kylie, many of them are fans of Freya Sky, many of them are fans of Ruby. And if you're a fan of Ruby, you're special to me, because Ruby was always my favorite Descendants character, who was never given enough credit for everything she offered to that franchise, having everything to do with how genuinely sweet she was. I will never forget this past summer when I found out that Ruby was not going to be a part of the Descendants of Zombies Worlds Collide tour. She was moving on to other projects. My heart was really broken this past summer, because I was looking forward to Ruby being a part of Descendants by Book Wonderland, having the chance to share the stage at the Worlds Collide tour and entertain each and every one of you. But even with how much I've missed Ruby, there are so many wonderful characters who are coming in to make up for the loss of Ruby and showcase their talents in the Descendants franchise, many of whom we're going to be meeting for the first time ever this summer. And I'm really excited to see what Liamani Segura and Kiana Romero will offer in this franchise as characters such as Hazel, Hook, and Pink. I think they will offer a lot. To be honest with you guys, I'm really excited to meet Liamani, because Liamani seems like a really sweet girl, and I think she deserves nothing but the best in a promising future, to have a promising future with Disney. I've never seen a girl have such huge dreams of wanting to perform on the Grammy Award-winning stage or performing in Madison Square Garden. That's huge dreams. And I think that no matter how big her dreams are, we can find time in appreciating them. I think she's going to offer a lot to this script, and herself and Red are going to have the chance to be a part of a story and really bring it to life and make it a stronger story than ever before, because the bond between two sisters is one of the strongest forces in the world, and I think that we're really going to find out what true love really means for these characters, as their friendships and their love for each other is truly going to be tested, having to be faced with the consequences of time travel. Because the most precious thing about life is we never seem to know how much time is, or really take into consideration just how precious time actually is, because the one thing about time is time always runs out. And as much as I hate to admit that time always runs out, we can never seem to have enough of it. And we are often left wondering, what would we do with time if we had more of it? Will we go back in time just to tell the people we love just how much we love them? Or will we use it to go back in time to fix some of our mistakes? Because as we've all known for many years, many of us are far from perfect. But it's our friends that we make, our friendships that we have in our lives, that help us make sense of everything happening around us. They are there for us every step of the way, kind of like how you guys happened for me as a YouTube content creator, and you allowed me the opportunity to share with you my story. You didn't judge me, you never cared who I was, and you listened to my story, and I became one of everybody's favorite fairy tale storytellers in the history of YouTube. I really did become everybody's favorite fairy tale storyteller, and I've loved being that for everybody. I always wanted to give somebody something to believe in. In some way or somehow, I always wanted to believe that in every video that I ever recorded, I did do just that. I gave you something to believe in, which was pretty much hope. Because if you don't have hope for Descendants of Zombies, what do you really have to fall back on? The reason why you love Descendants of Zombies is because of its story. It had nothing to do with its characters. It had nothing to do with its music. The reason why you loved Descendants and Zombies with all of your heart was because it was a beautiful story between two people who just wanted to spend the rest of their lives together, no matter what the cost or what the sacrifices were they had to make. All they knew were they loved each other. I know that it seems very unrealistic that a girl could ever have a chance of falling in love with a zombie, or how two fairy tale characters of Cinderella and the Queen of Hearts could go back in time and significantly alter it. But the thing is, it was a beautiful story for how much the characters meant to each other and how they were there for each other every step of the way. How Red never quit on Chloe, and how Chloe always believed in Red. No matter how much of a villain Red seemed to have been, or how misunderstood she felt, Chloe always believed in her. And Red eventually would go on to believe in Chloe, and they would ultimately find a greater purpose, which is what the rise of Red always meant to me, or my heart forever and always. And I'm sure I'm not alone on that sentiment. You know, if I could choose to watch a movie over 100 times, it would have to have been The Rise of Red or Zombies Swore Down to the Vampires, for just how beautiful the story of friendships and true love actually was. Because the thing was, no matter how much Zed and Addison's love story was tested, they always wanted to end up together. And no matter how many sacrifices they had to make, they eventually would. How many of you have never ever forgotten that final kiss in Zombies Swore Down to the Vampires? If you are somebody who has never forgotten that kiss, I want you guys to know that you're not alone. We're pretty much in the same boat. And if we're going to sink and die together, we might as well. Because that kiss meant so much to me, because it made me think, at the moment I saw that kiss, it made me think about how incredible of a 7-year run Zed and Addison had as the leads of this franchise. And now we have Freya Skye and Malachi Burton coming in to take over and present their own version of this love story, which I really believe is going to be faced with more challenges than ever before. I really don't know how you feel about that, but I really do believe that their story is just going to be as wonderful as what Zed and Addison's was, and it's going to go on to mean just as much to our hearts as what Zed and Addison's ever did. I think that Zed and Addison will undoubtedly hold their place in history and go down in history as one of Disney Channel's most revered power couples of all time, and I think that Freya Skye and Malachi Burton are well on their way to achieving their own version of history. Because what we are setting ourselves up for is the chance to be a part of history, and it's going to be really beautiful history, and history that we are most certainly never ever going to forget. And the cool thing is, I'm going to have a chance to be a part of it. You know, years ago, I come from a generation that is very different from watching Disney Channel than what you guys came from, because I remember growing up on original animation. Disney Channel first premiered for me back in September of 1988. It was September 1st, 1988. And you're saying to yourself, hey, Jonathan Clarke, man, you are really great with dates. Keep talking. Well, I'm half vampire, for those of you who don't know. Well, Disney Channel premiered for me for the first time back on September 1st, 1988. I was 2 years old. And I remember Disney Channel priding itself on original animation, which really wasn't much to fall back on. Shows prided itself on Mickey Mouse, the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, which first premiered on October 5th, 1955. And that wasn't yesterday. And then we go all the way from the original Mickey Mouse Clubhouse to the new and improved Mickey Mouse Clubhouse that first premiered stars like Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera, and Justin Timberlake, which was forever ago to many people. Many of you probably weren't even alive when stars like Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera were getting their first ever breaks. But I remember being a part of it. And then Disney comes out with this new version of a live-action Alice in Wonderland for the first time in the mid-1990s, which eventually became Goof Troop and DuckTales and Bonkers and The Jungle Book and Timon and Pumbaa and The New Adventures of the Lion King and Aladdin and The Little Mermaid, the Search and Rescue Rangers, Chip and Dale. I remember being a part of everything, because if there was one show or one channel that I wanted to watch, it was a Disney show or it was Disney Channel. My TV was pretty much locked on Disney Channel. It was either Disney Channel or pro wrestling, mostly because I thought pro wrestling was real. But you got to cut a guy some slack for thinking pro wrestling was real. I was probably 10 years old when I went to my first wrestling show, saw the WWF, saw The Undertaker, thought he was the coolest guy ever, wanted to be just like him. So eventually in my life it came down to me wanting to either be a pro wrestler or a podcast host. And I chose being a podcast host because being a podcast host would give me the chance to meet even more people and share my crazy stories and theories on Disney and how I thought everything that I saw on Disney Channel was real. Because trust me, on my very first radio program, which premiered for the first time ever on August 15th, 1999, the one thing I talked about was how I believed everything that I saw on Disney Channel was real. And honestly, guys, when I saw the Worlds Collide Tour for the first time this past summer with each and every one of you on YouTube, which was really cool, you're never a loser because you watch the Descendants of Zombies Worlds Collide Tour on YouTube. I had the time of my life because I saw these larger-than-life superstars who had achieved so much but still had so much to achieve. And I never felt more honored to experience it with each and every one of you, because if I was going to say something nice at all, it was going to have to be something nice about your favorite stars, because I knew that somewhere out there in this really big universe, even with how big this universe seems to be on times, you've heard me say this many times over the years, there's always that one girl who loves Descendants of Zombies with all of her heart, who deserves to be given a chance, and who wants to give her favorite star, who could be Freya, who could be Kylie, who could be Malia, more of a chance than ever before. Who wants to go to the Worlds Collide Tour, who wants to see Leg 2, who wants to see chapter after chapter of her favorite franchises expand, and I just wanted to encourage that. I wanted you guys to feel more passionately and more stronger about Descendants of Zombies than ever before, because we are stronger together. And if you've ever had a dream of, say, joining a sports team like the volleyball team or the swim team or becoming captain of the cheerleading squad, I say go for it. Because you never know how much a dream can become a reality for you or how much closer you are to that dream until you finally take the opportunity to really seize it and really put your dream in action. I know that sounds very reminiscent of the TV show Victorious, but because I was a really big fan of that show, and I always believe you should take the chance on putting your dream into action and making it become a reality, then we're going to steal that quote from Victorious. And yes, I did think that people like Victoria Justice and Ariana Grande were some of the most beautiful actresses and singers that I had ever seen in my life. But honestly, if I had to choose a favorite, it would definitely have to be Ruby. She's my favorite of all time, and probably second to her would be Kylie, because Kylie just seems forever passionate about each and every one of you. Kylie is so dedicated to each and every one of you, and I think one of the reasons why many of Kylie's relationships have never worked out for her liking is because a lot of people that Kylie Control were in relationships with never could understand how much Kylie Control valued each and every one of you. And I think until Kylie Control can find that one guy in her life, that one individual who understands that Kylie Control and her connection with each and every one of you means more to her than words could ever put into fathom, I think that Kylie's pretty much going to be at a loss for a very long time. Because the thing is, a guy really has to understand how much Kylie Control thinks about each and every one of you. She really believes in you guys just as much as you believe in her. The feeling is really mutual. And because you guys have never quit on Kylie Control, that's what makes these moments so special for us as reviewers on YouTube. And I think until people can really understand how much of a connection Kylie Control shares with her fandom, like she shares with each and every one of you, then I think that they're pretty much going to be at a loss. Point being, I've always thought that Kylie Control is the most beautiful person that we could ever talk about or have these conversations about. So too, I felt that way about Freya. So too, forever and always, I felt that way about Malia. I felt that way about many Disney stars that if I were to mention here on the show, we'd be here for forever. But tonight is a very special night for thousands of people, and I think you guys should be honored. So tonight, we're having a Descendants of Zombies takeover on Disney Channel. It will kick off with Descendants of the Rise of Red. That will air for about 90 minutes, followed by 2 repeat airings of the Descendants of Zombies Worlds Collide Tour concert special back to back to back, and then we will have Zombies 4 Dawn of the Vampires to close it out. And I remember the night that Zombies 4 Dawn of the Vampires premiered. I was so excited about it. I must have drank 5 slush puppies, and you're saying to yourself, hey, Jonathan Clarke, drinking 5 slush puppies in anticipation of the premiere of Zombies 4 Dawn of the Vampires sounds like a lot. Are you okay? I turned out okay. You know, the slush puppies went down a bit easier than I expected, but I was just so excited. You can't blame a guy for trying, can you? The thing is, guys, I just wanted to give you the best reviews, and if I was ever going to say anything nice about if anyone was ever going to say anything nice about your favorite stars, it was going to have to be me, because honestly, I've really had the time of my life talking about Descendants of Zombies. I will never be able to thank you guys enough for how much you've meant to me and really meant to this YouTube channel. Tomorrow night is going to be a special night for everybody, and I'm just so excited to be a part of that with each and every one of you. So I'm just going to take this opportunity and this chance in the final few moments that I have to say thank you to everybody who has ever believed in me, to every single person who has ever hit my subscribe button and truly saw something special and taken something special away from every video that I've ever had the honor to upload. I've always wanted to be a part of your lives as a voice and to represent the Descendants of Zombies fandom, and I had the chance to do that because Descendants of Zombies meant just as much to my heart as it did to each and every one of you. And if I was ever going to be a part of something, it was going to have to be something special. I've always wanted to go down in history for being one of the greatest of all time, and I guess one can only hope. You can't blame a guy for having a dream, hey. Tonight, the Descendants Zombies Worlds Collide Tour concert special will air for the first time ever. It premieres on Disney Channel. It will be available on most service providers, so you will have a chance to watch it. And if not, it will be available the following day, less than 24 hours after its initial premiere on Disney+. And if you are somebody who is so excited about this more than anything else happening in your life right now, you're probably going to sacrifice doing your homework, you're going to throw your books out the window, and you're going to watch the Descendants Zombies Worlds Collide Tour before ever doing your homework, then hey man, you only live once. Guys, have the time of your life watching this tonight. I will have many reviews of this and everything else related to Descendants of Zombies happening for you guys here on this YouTube channel. It has been my honor to have had these conversations with thousands of people, which I can only hope to have inspired, because there's no guy cooler to talk about Descendants of Zombies on YouTube than everybody's favorite YouTuber, Jonathan Clarke. So if you have not subscribed, you could be our up-and-coming 3,500 subscriber, and you're going to want to beat that because it's a milestone subscriber to have. 3,500 subscribers. We're just under 8 subscribers away. 8 subscribers out from 3,500, and you could be the 3,500 subscriber, and I would love for it to be you, and I would love to hear your story about how you became a fan of Descendants of Zombies, many of whom think I'm the nicest guy ever to talk about Descendants of Zombies. Thank you so much for having made this your favorite Descendants of Zombies YouTube channel of all time, as we continue to one-up these other YouTube creators who seem to think and feel as if they have the best Descendants of Zombies YouTube channel of all time. But this YouTube channel is light years ahead of them, and the only ones ever ahead of us seem to be Disney channeled. Literally, the only Descendants of Zombies YouTube channel that is ahead of this one is Disney. And we're coming right behind them. So we've got a lot of time to make up for it, but we can get there. We can get to number one. We can beat Disney. I mean, dreams are possible. I've often encouraged it. So let's have fun tonight. Let's watch the Descendants of Zombies Worlds Collide Tour. Let's beat Disney with more subscribers than ever before. And let's have fun tonight watching the Descendants of Zombies Worlds Collide Tour concert special for the first time ever. Thank you so much for having made this your favorite Descendants of Zombies YouTube channel of all time. And thank you so much for having watched this video.